Imagine boarding a plane, buckling up for a routine flight, and then just vanishing off the face of the earth. A shiver runs down your spine, doesn't it? But that's exactly what happened on a day that started out like any other. The flight in question was a standard passenger plane, soaring from point A to point B, packed with people, each immersed in their own world of thoughts, dreams, and anticipations. The departure was routine. The plane taxied down the runway, took off, and ascended to cruising altitude. The destination was a familiar one, a journey that had been made hundreds of times before by the same aircraft. The number of passengers on board, just over 200. Souls embarking on a journey, unaware of the enigma that awaited them. Everything was as it should be. The hum of the engines, the soft murmur of conversation, the subtle scent of coffee wafting from the galley. It was just another day, another flight, until it wasn't. Suddenly, the plane disappeared from the radar. One moment it was a blip on the screen, the next, nothing. Controllers stared at their screens in disbelief, frantically making calls, trying to re-establish contact. But it was as if the plane had simply slipped into oblivion. The shock was palpable. How could a plane just disappear? The confusion was just as overwhelming. Aircraft don't just vanish without a trace, right? But this one did. No distress signal, no communication, just an eerie silence. The mystery of the missing plane sent ripples through the aviation industry, sparking debates and instigating investigations. It became a puzzle that needed solving, a conundrum that begged for answers. The world watched, waited, and wondered. And as the minutes turned into hours and hours into days, the reality began to sink in. The plane was gone, vanished. But the question remained. How? How could a plane, a massive metal bird soaring through the sky, just vanish in thin air? One moment there, the next gone. How could a plane just vanish in thin air? From the moment the plane went off the radar, a complex web of investigation unfurled. This was no ordinary case of a missing aircraft. This was a mystery that had the world on edge, and it was going to take a global effort to unravel it. As the news broke, international agencies sprang into action. Aviation experts, military personnel, and seasoned investigators from across the globe collaborated, pooling their resources and expertise. The urgency was palpable, the stakes incredibly high. This was more than just a search for a plane. It was a race against time to find answers and bring closure to the hundreds of families waiting in agonizing suspense. Search and rescue operations kicked off at an unprecedented scale. Ships scoured the vast ocean expanses, planes combed through the skies, satellites peered down from space, all in a desperate bid to locate the missing aircraft. The vastness of the search area was a daunting challenge. Every square mile of ocean, every patch of land held the potential to hold clues, but also added to the enormity of the task. As the days turned into weeks with no sign of the plane, theories began to emerge. Some were grounded in logic, while others bordered on the improbable. From a catastrophic mechanical failure to a deliberate act of sabotage, from a freak weather phenomenon to the plane being swallowed by a black hole, every possibility was explored, every lead pursued. But as the theories multiplied, so did the questions. The investigation was a labyrinth, a puzzle where every piece seemed to contradict the other. The lack of concrete evidence, the conflicting reports, the endless ocean, all these factors turned the investigation into an intricate game of connect the dots, where the dots themselves were elusive. As the world watched, the investigators soldiered on, undeterred. They sifted through data, followed hunches, and chased shadows, driven by the hope that each day would bring them closer to the truth. The world was waiting, holding its breath for answers that seemed to elude even the brightest minds. The stage was set for one of the most perplexing mysteries of modern aviation. The world held its breath, waiting for answers that seemed to elude even the brightest minds. As days turned into weeks, the investigation started to yield some intriguing clues. In the wake of the plane's vanishing, fragments began to surface, shattered pieces of what was once a symbol of human achievement, scattered across the vast ocean like breadcrumbs. Each piece, a silent testament to the unfathomable incident, offering a whisper of the story that unfolded in the skies. Then, there were the patterns in the radar data. traces of the plane's trajectory, like ghostly etchings made in the air. They painted a picture of the aircraft's path, a zigzag course that defied logic, anomalies, aberrations that didn't quite fit the norm. A flight path that seemed more like a cryptic code than a route from point A to point B. But the clues didn't stop there. The communication logs too held their share of enigmas. Conversations cut short, messages that seemed out of place, radio silence when there should have been the usual chatter. It was as if the plane and all those on board had stepped into a zone of silence, a void where sound and signals ceased to exist. And then, the most perplexing clue of all, the weather. Clear skies, calm winds, a perfect day for flying. But could the serenity of the weather be a facade, a veil masking the deadly forces at play? Could it be that the plane had encountered an unknown atmospheric phenomenon, a sky beast lurking in the clear blue? As the clues unfolded, they wove a tapestry of mystery that was as deep as the ocean where the fragments were found. Each piece of the puzzle seemed to contradict the other, creating a labyrinth of questions that led to dead ends. The fragments, the radar data, the communication logs, the weather, they were all pieces of a jigsaw puzzle with no clear image. Each piece of evidence seemed to deepen the mystery rather than solve it. A mystery that remained unsolved, a story that was yet to be told. The clues were there, but the answers, they were as elusive as the vanished plane itself. With every mystery comes a multitude of theories, some plausible, others not so much. As we delve into the enigma of the vanishing plane, we encounter a variety of hypotheses. Some point toward the supernatural, claiming the aircraft was swallowed by a Bermuda Triangle-like anomaly. Others suggest a more terrestrial explanation, proposing that the plane was hijacked or suffered a catastrophic mechanical failure. Let's consider these theories for a moment. The supernatural angle, while intriguing, lacks tangible proof. There's no evidence of anomalies that could have caused such a disappearance. As for the hijacking theory, it's plausible, but again, there's no concrete evidence. No ransom demands, no credible claims of responsibility. The mechanical failure theory seems plausible too. After all, machines are fallible. But it doesn't explain why the plane vanished without a trace. Modern aviation technology is designed to send distress signals in such events. Why were none received? Each theory has its merits, but none provides a satisfactory explanation. They all leave us with more questions than answers. And so, the mystery persists. But this mystery has not been in vain. It has led to significant advancements in aviation safety. Enhanced tracking systems, improved communication protocols, and rigorous pre-flight checks have been implemented to prevent similar incidents. The aviation industry has learned from this tragedy, turning a baffling mystery into a catalyst for change. Yet the quest for answers continues. Investigators remain dedicated to uncovering the truth, driven by the hope of bringing closure to the families affected by this event. Theories are revisited, evidence reanalyzed, every possible scenario considered. The determination to solve this mystery remains undeterred. As we conclude, we're left with a sobering thought. Despite our technological prowess and relentless pursuit of knowledge, there are occurrences that remain elusive. They challenge our understanding, defy our logic, and remind us of our limitations. And so, the mystery of the vanishing plane continues to baffle us. A reminder perhaps that there are still things in this world that defy explanation.